Once again, everybody, thank you for being here and welcome. A very interesting program today. We're going to be speaking with one of our newly elected city council members. Reno City Councilor Oscar Delgado is my guest. Oscar, nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you taking the time to talk about the future of the city of Reno. First of all, why did you decide to run for city council? What was your motivation, Oscar?
You know, I was raised in this community. The person who I am today is, I give a lot of, is to the coaches, the teachers, the community that raised me here. My wife and I, when I was sitting back at graduate school, we sat back and said, what did we want to do? We could have basically went anywhere. We were out in Michigan. And we sat back and really thought about it and said, I am who I am today because of where I was raised. And we wanted to come back to Reno. And more so than anything else, I didn't think that I was going to run for politics. That wasn't something that I foresaw myself doing. But when I came out here knowing that I wanted to be a part of the community, I reached out and I saw an opportunity. I was raised in the community that I'm representing, Ward 3. I was raised in the Montello Trainer area. My wife went to Hug. I went to Sparks High. I know the community very well. And I said, well, I had done so much work in the community, why not put my hat in the ring? And that's kind of what led to today.
Had you thought about, you really hadn't thought about running for politics prior to that, or you just saw the opportunity present itself?
I just saw the opportunity present itself. Jessica Sfraza did such a great job over her term here at the city, and I knew those were big shoes to fill. But I knew that we needed someone that was going to be a strong advocate for the community. And a lot of my time growing up here was spent working at the Boys and Girls Club, working at Jan Evans, you know, reaching out to the community to make sure that they're engaged and they have an advocate. And I saw that this was a stepping stone, an opportunity.
Are there unusual problems within Ward 3? I know there's a lot of minority kind of people living in the in Ward 3. What have you found from campaigning going door to door?
Sure. Ward 3 is very diverse, not only in its ethnicities but it's also in its economics. So you have some struggling communities where low-income families and multi-family properties, but you have now, as of the 2010 census, you have the largest minority ward. It's now a minority majority, if that makes any sense. You have more minorities in that ward than any other ward in the city. But that doesn't go to say that there's special issues with that. It just goes to say that there's the community in itself. Truckee Meadows is now more diverse, and the demographics are changing from the years past. And so there is a need for some people in the community to see diversity, to see representation. But at the end of the day, for me, it's really a sense of making sure that people are looking out for those older communities. And I think that goes across all ethnic lines.
You're Hispanic?
I am.
Do you see, as the result of your election to the Reno City Council, more Hispanics getting involved in politics? And I guess that was that really kind of brought it out during the last presidential election, where a lot of Hispanics in Nevada did get out and vote.
Sure. You know, my hope is that more would be getting involved and wanting to get involved. My focus wasn't so much to target a certain ethnic group while I was running, it was just to reach out to everybody. So I couldn't really say if one group voted for me or not. My overall goal was to reach out to all the different communities in Ward 3 and across the city, because we had to run for the general at large as well.
Oscar, one of the things that I've talked about for, pardon me, well, since the 1960s, is a little more consolidation in this our governmental body between the city and the county. Mainly, we've seen it in the fire department to some degree. Do you favor any kind of increased emphasis on consolidation?
You know, it's always an opportunity that I'm open to listening to. But consolidation just for consolidation's sake doesn't really make sense to me unless I see the numbers. And there's a lot of moving parts along with that. I know we're working on some things with our business and department and our community development department to make sure that our business licenses going directly with Washoe County and Sparks makes a lot of sense. And there's a lot of different departments that we can possibly do that with. But at this point, I know that's something that we're talking about. Hopefully we'll be able to get there again with fire. But I know there's a lot of different moving parts, and so I'd definitely be open to.
Some areas of law enforcement, aren't they talking about maybe consolidating some services?
It's been thrown out there. I have yet to see or sit down or talk to anyone with definite details. But again, open, and I wanted to learn more and see if that's an efficiency that we can do as Truckee Meadows. at the end of the day, my job is to make sure that the taxpayers' dollars are used to the best that they can, as the most efficient that they can, and so I'm open to that.
My gut reaction is that downtown Reno wants the Aces to stay. The casinos, all the major casinos want the Aces here.
Sure, and it's, yeah, I would say that they would like to, but the community in general. And that's who at the end of the day, our major constituents are and the people we want to listen to. And we've done we put in so much work and effort into making sure that downtown is revitalized. To see a baseball stadium go black would not only be a few steps back from where we've gone currently, but it's definitely an asset that we want to make sure is something that's going to spark hopefully more development and new turnover in downtown Reno.
You said that you've been involved in working with youth over the years, Boys and Girls Club. Youth and seniors, as the city of Reno, where do you stand on support of both of those groups, and is the city supporting seniors and youth enough? Yeah,
yes, I think we actually have here in the next month or two, we're going to have a senior games, which I hear are very, very popular, the winter games. I know over the summer, my understanding, working with Daryl Feemsters, he's done a great job with that as well. So nothing else, continue to build on that, continue to see that we're a resource and a service for seniors. And someone that's worked with the youth, I see that there's some opportunities there to make some things better, or hopefully work with some nonprofits that are actually doing a great job in that service. So as a government agency, making sure that we focus on things that we do really well, but also working with those nonprofits or those agencies that also do a good job that we can learn from or work with.
And what about seniors?
Seniors, as I said, with Daryl Feemster, I think that he's doing a great job. He communicates with us. If there's a need there, hopefully we can work with them and provide a service for senior if there's anything missing. I myself have not been able to work with any the senior groups at this point, but looking forward to doing that.
What committees are you on for the city?
I'm currently with the special events subcommittee. I'm working on the regional planning committee. I'm also on the flood project committee. I'm a liaison to EDON, and then I'll be put on the Art Town committee as well.
And the senior or special events, as you mentioned, are very important and very successful in this city. I was elated to see that we're going to get the big automobile show out of Arizona to come for Hot August Nights.
Absolutely.
And I think that mainly because of the executive director of Hot August Nights, and I guess Mayor Cashel had a big hand in that too.
Yeah, my understanding is Tony Marini, I believe, who's now the CEO for Hot August Nights, did a great job reaching out and understanding that we need to continue to evolve from the Hot August Nights events. And I think we need to continue that to make sure that we're doing that with all of our events. Sometimes when you keep the status quo, things start to fall off, and so we need to continue to reinvent and build on those successes. And I think with the new, I think his name is Bartlett, is it the auctioneer?
Yeah.
Is going to do a great job in hopefully boosting our events.
What kind of rapport do you have with Mayor Cashel? Because he's a different kind of a guy. He's very outspoken, says his mind, but seems to be an excellent leader for the city of Reno.
We have a great rapport. I think we have a very direct and candid rapport, which I believe we need to have as a city to make sure things are running smoothly. And we also have made it clear at the very beginning, excuse me, that that it's okay to disagree on issues. I think that's a healthy part for any city council or anyone else when you want to talk about issues. I believe he's learned that we're a new city council, and so we have some new ideas, and he's been open to those. And so we're going to miss him here the next 2 years because I know he'll term out, but hopefully we'll be able to carry on and have someone with his leadership as well.
Do you get the feeling, Oscar, that you do have good diversity now in the city council where, this end of the table can disagree with that end of the table?
I do, and I think ultimately too what it really leads down to is we have a lot of conversation prior to the city council, maybe one-on-one or with groups of 3, and we're learning also as a new city council to reach out to staff and ask for opinions and ask for advice. And I think that's healthy because we're able to also bring from our diverse backgrounds different perspectives on issues and questions that ultimately we probably wouldn't have thought about.
If you had to name 3 or 4 pet things that maybe you'd like to see happen in the city of Reno while you're on the council, what would those be?
I think we need to do a better job of reaching out to our community and our neighborhoods to make sure that they know they're a part of the city. As long as I've lived here, there's certain groups that are really the squeaky wheels, so to say, and so to really reach out and make sure that they are heard and they can be a part of the community, either through the NABs, through the Parks and Rec, different advisory boards, so their voices are heard. We need to do, from my perspective, make sure that we are continuing to work with our general regional planning to make sure that we have a vision that's going to be long sustaining currently with the new revisit of our economic times. And one of my other things is to make sure that the flood project is continuing to move. I know that's been a heated issue for the longest time in the city, and we need to continue to make sure that that ball's moving, so we're not put in a tough place as we possibly would have been back in December, with back in December when the flood was possibly going to happen here too.
What about gang violence? You know, my guess is we don't have any more gang violence or any less gang violence than other cities our size. Is that something obviously you're interested in because of youth? Are we addressing that and handling that problem?
I think our police department has done a great job with the current staffing that they have. I know they have fewer staff than they've had in the past because of the layoffs that we've had to incur, but their reach out and their way they're dealing with their neighborhoods in terms of making sure that they're at the NABs and making sure they're out meeting with community groups, that they're a face that people can reach out to, and they develop those relationships. So the gang violence, I don't see it as nearly as much as it was when I was growing up in town. Graffiti's had an uptick. Graffiti doesn't mean that it's gang related. It could just be taggers who go out there and just want to put their names on a sign. But hopefully those will start getting cleaned up as well. I know we've had a little issue in terms of cleaning up some of the graffiti because of the machines were frozen because of the weather. So hopefully with the temperature starting to come up, we'll be able to take care of that. But it's also very important that the community calls 334 info to make sure that they can call and make any reports when they see graffiti or anything else that they see out in the community, to make sure that we start a paper trail and we can identify that and take care of those issues.
Well, Oscar, it seems to me like you're going to have an interesting 4 years ahead of you. And you seem like you're very interested in our community. I got to tell you that I live in your ward. I live in Ward 3. So when those dogs are barking at night and I see that, you know, the gravel is kind of moving off the highway, I'm going to give you a call at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Say, Oscar, help me. This is your old buddy, Bob Carroll.
I would expect nothing less. And so I look forward to hearing your calls.
I appreciate your time. Thank you very much, Oscar Delgado. Reno City Councilman. We're off to a great start with the City Council. I'm Bob Carroll. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.